You're standing on ancient ground. Beneath your feet, buried in rock that formed when dinosaurs ruled the earth, scientists have found something impossible. Microscopic metal spheres, scattered across every continent. Their chemical signature matches exactly, and I mean exactly, what we see from modern nuclear weapons testing. But these spheres are 65 million years old. For centuries we've lived with a comfortable certainty. We were first. The first to split atoms, the first to build cities, the first to change our planet's atmosphere through technology. We were special, unique, the pioneers of intelligence on Earth. What if we were wrong? What if Earth has been home to advanced civilizations before us? Civilizations so ancient that geological time has erased nearly every trace of their existence. What if the ground beneath our feet, the rocks in our mountains, the ice at our poles are all keeping secrets we're only now learning to read? I'm not talking about ancient aliens or conspiracy theories. I'm talking about scientific evidence, real data, discoveries that are forcing researchers to ask uncomfortable questions about our planet's history. Today, we're going on a journey through deep time. We'll examine vanished nuclear signatures hidden in ancient rocks. We'll explore mysterious mass extinctions that wiped out most life on Earth. We'll investigate enormous gaps in the fossil record that science still can't explain. And we'll discover evidence of technologies so advanced, they operated through the fundamental forces of physics itself. This is a story about loss and legacy. About civilizations that achieved technological marvels we can barely comprehend before vanishing completely, leaving only whispers in the geological record. This is a story about us, and about the countless others who came before. Are you ready? Then let's begin our descent into deep time. The discovery that changed everything, Italy, 1980. A geologist named Walter Alvarez is doing what geologists do, examining rock layers, looking for clues about Earth's past. He's studying a thin band of clay that marks a boundary between two geological periods, the Cretaceous and the Paleogene. To most people, it would look like nothing. Just a thin stripe of different coloured rock. But when Alvarez tests this clay, he finds something extraordinary. The layer contains iridium, a rare metal that's virtually absent from Earth's crust, at levels 30 times higher than normal. This iridium is abundant in asteroids and meteorites, but shouldn't be here in such concentrations. The implications hit the scientific community like a thunderbolt. This iridium spike was proof, definitive proof, of the asteroid impact that killed the dinosaurs 65 million years ago. One catastrophic day, captured forever in a thin layer of rock. But here's what fascinated scientists most. If one asteroid impact could leave such clear traces after 65 million years, what signatures would an advanced technological civilization leave behind? And more importantly, would we even recognize them? Deep time and the Silurian hypothesis. Let me give you some perspective on deep time, because our human brains aren't really built to comprehend these scales. Earth is 4.5 billion years old. That's not just a big number, it's an almost incomprehensible span of time. If human industrial civilization lasted 10,000 years and then vanished completely, that period would represent just 2/10,000ths of 1% of Earth's history. Finding evidence of such a civilization would be like searching for a single specific page in a library containing 4 million books, and you don't know which book, or which shelf, or even which building. This realization sparked what scientists call the Silurian hypothesis, named after an ancient species from Doctor Who, of all things. It's a serious scientific question. Could industrial civilizations have existed on Earth long before humans, leaving behind traces so subtle or so transformed by geological time that we simply haven't recognized them yet? Think about what our civilization will leave behind. We pump carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. We scatter plastic particles across the globe. We produce radioactive isotopes that will persist for thousands of years. Future geologists, millions of years from now, would easily identify our impact on the planet. But what if previous civilizations used different technologies? What if they harnessed energy sources we haven't discovered? What if they developed materials that decay differently than our plastics and concrete? Their industrial signatures might be hiding in plain sight, misinterpreted as natural phenomena. The iridium layer proved that Earth preserves evidence of dramatic events across vast spans of time. If the planet can maintain a record of a single day when an asteroid struck, it should also preserve traces of civilizations that might have thrived for millennia. So scientists began examining the geological record with new eyes, searching for patterns that might indicate ancient industrial activity. What they discovered challenges our most fundamental assumptions about life on Earth. The Cambrian explosion. Earth's fossil record should tell us the complete story of a life on our planet. Instead, it reads like a book with most of its pages ripped out. We're left with fragments tantalizing hints of chapters we cannot read. Paleontologists have a polite term for these missing sections: gaps. But that word doesn't capture the staggering magnitude of what's missing. 540 million years ago, something incredible happened. Scientists call it the Cambrian explosion, and it's one of the most profound mysteries in biology. Before this event, we find mostly simple, single-celled organisms in the fossil record. Simple life, doing simple things. Then boom! Suddenly, the oceans are teeming with complex creatures. Animals with eyes, with shells, with sophisticated body plans and hunting strategies. Trilobites, ancient arthropods, the ancestors of everything complex that would follow. This transition should have taken millions of years of gradual evolution. Natural selection works slowly, building complexity one small change at a time. But the Cambrian explosion appears to have happened almost instantly in geological terms, perhaps just 10 or 20 million years. For the scale of evolutionary change involved, that's the blink of an eye. The fossil record offers no explanation for this dramatic leap in complexity. It's as if someone flipped a switch and life went from simple to complex overnight. Systematic gaps and strange patterns. But the Cambrian explosion represents just one of several mysterious gaps in the fossil record. Life seems to advance in sudden, unexplained jumps. Species appear fully formed, they thrive, then they vanish without obvious causes. New forms of life emerge as if they materialized from nowhere. Traditional explanations point to preservation bias. Soft-bodied organisms rarely fossilize, so we might be missing crucial evolutionary intermediates. Environmental conditions affect fossilization rates, creating apparent gaps where gradual change actually occurred. These factors certainly contribute to the incomplete record. But some gaps seem too systematic, too precisely timed to result from random preservation failures. They coincide with dramatic changes in atmospheric composition, ocean chemistry, and global climate patterns that suggest something beyond normal evolutionary processes was occurring. Let me give you another example: the Great Oxygenation Event. 2 billion years ago, Earth's atmosphere underwent a dramatic transformation. Oxygen levels suddenly increased dramatically. This was catastrophic for most existing life forms. Oxygen was essentially poison to them, but this atmospheric change enabled new types of organisms to evolve. Organisms that could breathe, that could metabolize food more efficiently, that could grow larger and more complex. Scientists attribute this event to cyanobacteria beginning to produce oxygen through photosynthesis. But the timing and scale of the change seem remarkably precise for a natural process. The oxygen increase follows a pattern that resembles what might happen if an advanced civilization began large-scale manipulation of atmospheric chemistry. Think about it. If you wanted to transform a planet to support more complex life, increasing atmospheric oxygen would be step one. You'd need to do it gradually enough that some life could adapt, but fast enough that you didn't wait millions of years for natural processes. The pattern we see in the geological record matches that hypothetical scenario almost perfectly. Reading between the lines. Similar patterns appear throughout the fossil record, periods of stability interrupted by sudden dramatic changes that reshape life on Earth, mass extinctions followed by rapid diversification of new species, chemical signatures in rock layers that suggest massive, coordinated alterations to planetary systems. Could these patterns result from natural processes we don't fully understand? Absolutely. Earth's climate and chemistry operate through complex feedback loops that might produce sudden transitions under certain conditions. But they could also indicate something else entirely. What if some of these gaps represent periods when previous civilizations dominated the planet? Their industrial activities might have altered environments so drastically that most existing species went extinct, creating apparent gaps in the fossil record. The rapid emergence of new life forms afterward might represent either evolutionary responses to changed conditions or, and this is the provocative part, evidence of genetic manipulation by advanced beings who were reshaping the biosphere to suit their purposes. I know what you're thinking. This sounds like science fiction. But stay with me, because the evidence gets much stranger and much more compelling. You see, the rock layers themselves contain evidence that's hard to explain away. Every factory, every power plant, every piece of heavy machinery leaves chemical fingerprints that persist long after the structures themselves crumble to dust. These signatures become incorporated into Earth's geological record, creating permanent evidence of industrial activity that can survive for millions of years. Modern industry produces distinctive isotope ratios that differ dramatically from natural processes. When we burn fossil fuels, we release carbon that's been locked underground for millions of years. This ancient carbon has a specific isotopic signature. It's like a chemical barcode that shows up clearly in atmospheric measurements and gets preserved in tree rings, ice cores, and marine sediments. Nuclear weapons testing created radioactive isotopes that appear nowhere in nature: plutonium-239, cesium-137. These artificial elements will remain detectable in geological samples for thousands of years, providing future scientists with unmistakable proof that an advanced technological civilization existed on Earth during the 20th and 21st centuries. But here's where the mystery deepens. Geologists have discovered similar anomalous isotope signatures in rock layers that predate human civilization by millions, even hundreds of millions of years. The Permian-Triassic boundary. The Permian-Triassic boundary, marking what's called the Great Dying 252 million years ago, contains carbon isotope ratios that mirror exactly what we see from massive fossil fuel combustion. The scale of this signature suggests an event that released carbon equivalent to burning all known coal, oil, and natural gas reserves on Earth within a relatively short geological time span. Traditional explanations invoke massive volcanic eruptions in Siberia or methane releases from warming oceans. These are plausible natural explanations, but the carbon signature is remarkably similar to what industrial civilization produces. The pattern fits. Ice cores from Antarctica provide atmospheric samples stretching back 800,000 years. Within these samples, scientists have identified periods of rapid atmospheric change that resemble what we might expect from large-scale industrial activity. Concentrations of greenhouse gases spike suddenly, remain elevated for thousands of years, then return to baseline levels. These patterns appear multiple times throughout the ice core record, and they're always preceded by subtle changes in atmospheric chemistry that suggest, and I'm choosing my words carefully here, coordinated manipulation of planetary systems. The changes are too rapid and too systematic to result from known natural processes. Microscopic mysteries. Rock formations in Colorado contain microscopic spheres of titanium and other rare metals arranged in layers corresponding to specific time periods. These spheres are identical to particles produced by high-temperature industrial processes, the kind you'd see in metallurgical operations or advanced manufacturing. Yet they appear in geological strata that formed long before humans developed metallurgy, long before humans existed at all. Similar metallic anomalies have been discovered in sediment cores from deep ocean basins. The metals are distributed in patterns that suggest widespread atmospheric dispersal, as if they were released by numerous industrial sources operating simultaneously across different continents. Ocean sediment cores reveal additional evidence. Layers of sediment contain concentrations of synthetic compounds that should not exist in nature, yet they appear in geological contexts that predate human chemistry by enormous margins. Now, I want to be clear. These chemical signatures could have natural explanations we haven't yet discovered. Earth's geological processes are incredibly complex. We're constantly learning new things about how our planet works. We may be misinterpreting evidence of unusual but natural phenomena, but the patterns are becoming too numerous and too systematic to ignore. And the evidence extends beyond chemistry into the realm of materials that shouldn't exist at all. Plastic will be humanity's most enduring legacy. Think about that for a moment. Long after our cities crumble into dust, long after our bones have decomposed and our monuments have eroded away, microscopic plastic particles will remain embedded in sediment layers. Future geologists, millions of years from now, will discover a sharp transition in Earth's sediment. Below a certain layer, no plastic. Above that layer, plastic everywhere. They might call it the Anthropocene epoch, the age when humans began reshaping the planet through industrial activity. Plastic breaks down extremely slowly in natural environments, even when exposed to sunlight, heat, and chemical weathering. Plastic fragments persist for hundreds or thousands of years. In deep ocean sediments or frozen environments, plastic could remain virtually unchanged for millions of years. This durability makes plastic an ideal geological marker. It's our signature, our mark on deep time. But recent discoveries suggest we might not be the first civilization to leave such markers behind. Sediment cores from remote ocean basins, places far from any human activity or contamination, contain microscopic particles of what appears to be synthetic polymer compounds. These particles are found in layers that formed millions of years before humans invented plastic. Let me repeat that, because it's important. These look like plastic. They have the chemical structure of plastic. They display characteristics identical to modern plastic fragments, including resistance to natural degradation processes and chemical compositions that don't occur in nature. But they're in rock layers from the Mesozoic era, the age of dinosaurs. The particles appear in discrete layers separated by millions of years, suggesting multiple episodes of widespread synthetic material production, followed by complete cessation of that activity. The distribution patterns indicate global dispersal, as if these materials were being produced and used by a planet-wide civilization. Engineered materials. Advanced analysis reveals even more puzzling details. Some of these ancient polymer fragments contain molecular structures that represent improvements over modern plastic technology. They show evidence of engineering designed to enhance durability and resistance to environmental breakdown. Think about what that means. These aren't just primitive plastics that some natural process accidentally created. These are sophisticated materials that suggest their creators possessed advanced understanding of polymer chemistry and materials science. Understanding that, in some ways, exceeds our own. Deep drilling projects in Antarctica have recovered ice samples containing similar synthetic particles in layers that formed hundreds of thousands of years ago. The particles are perfectly preserved in the ice, maintaining their original molecular structure and providing clear evidence of their artificial origin. The implications. These discoveries force us to confront uncomfortable questions. Either natural processes can somehow create perfect polymer mimics under conditions we don't understand, which would be a major scientific discovery in itself, or previous civilizations developed advanced chemistry long before humans appeared on Earth. The timeline implications are staggering. If these particles really represent evidence of ancient industrial activity, then technological civilizations have arisen and vanished multiple times throughout Earth's history. Each episode left behind its characteristic signature in the geological record before disappearing completely. Rock formations in Australia contain layers of what geologists initially identified as unusual mineral deposits. Closer examination revealed these minerals to be degraded fragments of synthetic materials with complex molecular structures that required advanced manufacturing techniques to produce. Carbon dating of organic material found alongside these fragments indicates ages that stretch back millions of years, yet the synthetic compounds show no signs of the degradation that should occur over such vast timescales. This preservation suggests either unknown natural processes or manufacturing techniques that far exceed current human capabilities. The evidence forces us to confront a deeply unsettling possibility. We may be walking across the ruins of previous civilizations without even recognizing them. Their greatest technological achievements have been reduced to microscopic particles scattered through sediment layers, mistaken for natural phenomena by scientists who assumed we were the first. But if ancient polymers challenge our understanding of materials science, what we've found regarding nuclear signatures is even more disturbing. The natural reactors of a colo. In 1972, French scientists were analysing uranium ore from the Akolo mine in Gabon, Africa, when they made a discovery that shouldn't have been possible. The uranium showed clear evidence of sustained nuclear chain reactions that had occurred naturally 2 billion years ago. These ancient reactors operated for hundreds of thousands of years, consuming uranium fuel and producing radioactive waste products in a process that scientists had believed required sophisticated human technology and careful engineering. The discovery proved that nuclear reactions could occur in nature under very specific geological conditions. The right concentration of uranium, the right presence of water as a moderator, the right geological stability, all coming together in natural nuclear reactors that operated for millennia. But the Oklo reactors also established something important. Nuclear activity leaves unmistakable signatures in the geological record that persist for billions of years. Isotope ratios created by nuclear reactions are so distinctive that they can be identified and analysed long after the reactions themselves have ceased. This realization led scientists to search for other nuclear signatures in Earth's geological history. What they found has profound implications. Weapon signatures in ancient rock uranium deposits in Kazakhstan contain isotope ratios that match exactly what nuclear weapons testing produces. Not natural reactors like Oklo. Weapons testing. The ratios are too precise and too concentrated to result from natural processes, and these signatures appear in rock layers that formed 50 million years ago, long before humans developed atomic technology, long before humans existed. Similar weapons-grade nuclear signatures have been discovered in ancient geological formations across 6 different continents. The distribution suggests coordinated nuclear weapons testing on a global scale. Atmospheric tests, underground tests, the works. Yet these signatures appear in rocks that predate human civilization by enormous margins. Isotopes that shouldn't exist. Deep core samples from the Greenland ice sheet contain radioactive isotopes that don't occur naturally on Earth. These isotopes are produced only by specific types of nuclear reactions that require precise control of neutron flux and temperature conditions. You need sophisticated reactor technology or advanced weapons design to create them. Their presence in ancient ice suggests that previous civilizations achieved levels of nuclear technology that exceed current human capabilities. The isotopes appear in distinct layers separated by thousands of years, indicating multiple episodes of advanced nuclear activity followed by complete cessation. The pattern resembles what we might expect if technological civilizations rose to prominence, developed nuclear weapons, then destroyed themselves, or vanished for other reasons. Ocean sediment cores from the Pacific contain plutonium isotopes in layers that correspond to periods of mass extinction in the fossil record. Plutonium doesn't occur naturally on Earth. It simply doesn't. It can only be produced through sophisticated nuclear technology, either in reactors or weapons. Its presence in ancient sediments suggests that nuclear weapons may have played a role in some of Earth's great extinction events. The scale of ancient nuclear activity. The quantities of these isotopes are staggering. Some geological formations contain concentrations of artificial radioactive elements that would require detonating thousands of nuclear weapons. We're not talking about a few bombs. We're talking about sustained nuclear warfare or testing programs that dwarfed even the Cold War. Advanced particle physics analysis has identified exotic radioactive elements in ancient rock formations. These include elements that are produced only in particle accelerators or advanced nuclear reactors using technology that humans have just recently developed, or haven't developed at all yet. Their presence in millions of years old geological samples suggests that previous civilizations may have achieved scientific capabilities that surpass our current understanding. Correlation with other evidence. Here's what makes this even more compelling. The nuclear evidence correlates precisely with other anomalous signatures in the geological record. Periods containing artificial isotopes also show dramatic changes in atmospheric chemistry, mass extinctions, and the appearance of synthetic materials in sediment layers. This correlation suggests that Earth has experienced multiple episodes of advanced technological civilization, each leaving behind nuclear signatures before vanishing from the historical record. The precision and sophistication of these signatures indicate that our predecessors may have achieved scientific knowledge that exceeds anything humans have accomplished. They weren't primitive. They weren't stumbling around in the dark. They knew what they were doing, and then they were gone. The energy question. But the nuclear evidence represents just one piece of a much larger puzzle. because every industrial civilization must consume massive amounts of energy to power its technology and support large populations. This energy consumption inevitably alters atmospheric chemistry, creating distinctive patterns that persist in the geological record long after the civilization itself has vanished. Human industrial activity has increased atmospheric carbon dioxide levels by more than 40% since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. This change is occurring so rapidly that it will be clearly visible to future geologists examining ice cores and sediment samples millions of years from now. Our energy consumption has created a permanent signature in Earth's climate record. But we're not the first civilization to leave such signatures behind. The Ice Core Chronicles. Ice core samples from Antarctica contain atmospheric data spanning the last 800,000 years. It's an incredible record, like a time machine made of frozen air. Each layer of ice traps tiny bubbles containing the atmosphere from when that layer formed. Within this record, scientists have identified multiple episodes of rapid greenhouse gas increases that mirror exactly what we see from modern industrial activity. These ancient episodes show the same characteristic patterns of carbon dioxide and methane spikes that result from large-scale fossil fuel combustion and industrial processes. The timing and magnitude of these changes are too systematic to result from natural climate variations. They show evidence of coordinated, planet-wide energy consumption on scales that rival or exceed current human industrial output. Each episode lasts for thousands of years before greenhouse gas levels return to baseline, suggesting that these ancient civilizations eventually either collapsed or developed cleaner energy technologies. Evidence of climate modification. Ocean sediment cores reveal even more dramatic evidence. Layers of sediment contain chemical signatures indicating massive atmospheric manipulation that goes far beyond simple fossil fuel combustion. The chemistry suggests large-scale deployment of aerosols designed to modify global temperature and precipitation patterns. This is climate engineering, geoengineering on a planetary scale. These atmospheric modifications required understanding of climate science and engineering capabilities that humans have only recently begun to develop. We're just now starting to seriously discuss ideas like stratospheric aerosol injection or marine cloud brightening. But the evidence suggests previous civilizations actually did it. The scale of their intervention suggests they achieved levels of technological sophistication that allowed them to treat Earth's entire atmospheric system as an engineering project. They didn't just study the climate, they controlled it. Synthetic atmospheric compounds, deep drilling projects in Greenland have recovered ice samples containing atmospheric gases from periods stretching back millions of years. Some of these samples contain concentrations of synthetic compounds that don't occur naturally, but are known to be extremely effective greenhouse gases. Their presence suggests that ancient civilizations developed and deployed atmospheric modification technologies for purposes we can only guess at. Climate stabilization, terraforming after some disaster, deliberate warming or cooling of the planet. The synthetic compounds appear in precise ratios that indicate careful engineering rather than accidental release. Their molecular structures show evidence of design optimization for specific atmospheric effects. Somebody knew exactly what they were doing. Reading ancient soil rock formations in North America contain layers that preserve ancient soil compositions from periods when these atmospheric modifications were occurring. The soil chemistry shows dramatic alterations in precipitation patterns and temperature ranges that correlate precisely with the greenhouse gas anomalies found in ice cores. These climate modifications appear to have been remarkably successful. During periods of ancient atmospheric engineering, geological evidence suggests that Earth's climate remained stable despite natural factors that should have caused significant warming or cooling. The intervention seemed designed to maintain optimal conditions for supporting large populations and advanced technology. It's climate management at a level we can barely imagine. Ancient climate wisdom. The sophistication of these climate engineering projects implies that their creators understood Earth's climate system better than we do today. They appear to have successfully managed global atmospheric chemistry for thousands of years at a time, maintaining stability through multiple natural climate changes that would otherwise have caused environmental catastrophe. Think about what that means. We're currently struggling to understand our own climate system well enough to predict what will happen in the next century. These ancient civilizations were actually managing it successfully for millennia, but the most intriguing evidence suggests that some of these civilizations may have attempted the ultimate engineering project. Atmospheric composition. Engineering trapped gas bubbles in amber contain atmospheric samples from 100 million years ago. These ancient air pockets show oxygen concentrations that are 35% higher than current levels, but with isotope ratios that indicate artificial enrichment rather than natural biological processes. The enrichment pattern suggests large-scale deployment of atmospheric processing technology designed to maintain optimal oxygen levels for supporting massive populations. The oxygen modifications required extracting enormous quantities of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, while simultaneously increasing oxygen, production beyond what Earth's plant life could naturally achieve. This level of atmospheric control represents engineering on a planetary scale that exceeds anything humans have attempted. Engineering for industry deep ice cores from both poles contain atmospheric samples showing repeated episodes of complete atmospheric restructuring. These modifications involved not just greenhouse gases, but the fundamental composition of air itself. Nitrogen isotope ratios indicate large-scale manipulation of the atmosphere's primary component, requiring technology capable of processing the entire atmospheric volume of the planet. The modifications appear designed to optimize atmospheric composition for supporting advanced technology. Gas ratios in these ancient samples would have enhanced combustion efficiency, improved materials processing, and reduced corrosion of metallic structures. The atmosphere itself was apparently engineered to support an industrial civilization. Synthetic atmospheres. Ocean sediment cores preserve evidence of even more ambitious atmospheric projects. Chemical signatures indicate periods when Earth's atmosphere contained synthetic gases that don't occur anywhere else in our solar system. These compounds show molecular structures optimized for specific atmospheric functions, suggesting they were designed and manufactured for large-scale deployment. The synthetic atmospheric components appear to have been engineered for multiple purposes simultaneously. Some enhanced heat retention to warm the planet during natural cooling periods. Others provided radiation shielding that would have protected surface life from harmful cosmic rays and solar flares. The complexity of these multi-purpose atmospheric modifications indicates scientific understanding that far exceeds current human knowledge. Ancient atmospheric samples also contain evidence of failed engineering projects. Some periods show rapid atmospheric changes followed by equally rapid reversions, as if experimental modifications were tested and then abandoned when they produced unexpected results. These trial and error patterns suggest that even advanced civilizations struggled with the complexity of planetary scale engineering. They made mistakes, they learned, they tried again. The most remarkable discovery involves atmospheric samples from 200 million years ago that contain gases with molecular structures indicating they were designed to support life forms that no longer exist on Earth. The gas compositions would have been toxic to current terrestrial life, but optimal for organisms with entirely different biochemistry. This evidence suggests that previous civilizations may have modified Earth's atmosphere to support either their own alien physiology or artificially created life forms that required different environmental conditions. We may be looking at evidence that Earth has hosted multiple, entirely different biospheres, each engineered by its dominant civilization. But atmospheric engineering represents just one aspect of planetary modification preserved in the geological record, and some of that evidence points to something even darker. The Great Dying. 252 million years ago, Earth experienced what scientists call the Great Dying, the Permian-Triassic extinction event. It was the worst extinction event in our planet's history. 96% of marine species went extinct. 70% of terrestrial vertebrates died out. Life came closer than ever before or since to ending completely. Traditional explanations point to massive volcanic eruptions in Siberia, or sudden methane releases from warming oceans. These are catastrophic natural events that could cause mass extinction. The evidence supports these mechanisms being involved, but the extinction pattern shows characteristics that are difficult to explain through natural processes alone. Unnatural selectivity. The Great Dying occurred with remarkable precision and selectivity. Species with similar ecological niches and environmental requirements showed dramatically different survival rates for reasons that remain mysterious. Some groups that should have been vulnerable survived almost unchanged, while others that appeared well adapted to environmental stress went extinct completely. This selectivity suggests that the extinction mechanism specifically targeted certain types of organisms while sparing others. Natural disasters typically affect species based on their environmental tolerances and habitat requirements. They're indiscriminate. If it's too hot, everything that can't handle heat dies. If the oceans acidify, everything sensitive to pH changes dies. But the Great Dying appears to have followed different rules entirely. Biological weapon signatures. Geological evidence from the extinction boundary reveals chemical signatures consistent with large-scale use of biological weapons. Rock layers from this period contain concentrations of synthetic toxins that don't occur naturally, but are extremely effective at disrupting specific biological processes. The toxins appear designed to target particular biochemical pathways, while leaving others unaffected. That's not how natural toxins work. Natural poisons are usually broad-spectrum. These appear engineered. The distribution of these toxins is global and systematic, indicating coordinated deployment across all continents and ocean basins simultaneously. Natural processes could not have achieved such precise worldwide distribution of synthetic compounds. The pattern suggests a deliberately engineered extinction event. Engineered microorganisms, ocean sediment cores from the extinction boundary, contain microscopic particles that appear to be the remains of engineered microorganisms. These particles show evidence of artificial genetic modification and manufacturing techniques that wouldn't be developed by humans for hundreds of millions of years. Their presence suggests that biological weapons may have been deployed on a planetary scale. We're talking about weaponized biology, designer pathogens released to eliminate specific forms of life while leaving others intact. Other extinction events. The Ordovician-Silurian extinction 445 million years ago shows similar patterns of unnatural selectivity and global coordination. This event eliminated 85% of marine species but followed targeting patterns that seemed designed to clear ecological niches for new types of organisms that appeared immediately afterward. The timing of species replacements is too rapid to result from natural evolution and adaptation. New life forms appear in the fossil record within thousands of years of the extinction event, already fully adapted to post-extinction environments. This pattern suggests that the extinctions were deliberately designed to make room for previously prepared replacement species. Nuclear extinction events, rock formations from multiple extinction boundaries, contain isotope signatures indicating massive deployment of nuclear weapons. The radioactive signatures appear precisely at the moments when extinction rates peaked, suggesting that nuclear warfare may have been used to accelerate ecological collapse. The scale of nuclear deployment exceeds anything humans have achieved, indicating civilizations with vastly superior military technology. Some extinction events show evidence of space-based weapons deployment. Mineral formations from extinction boundaries contain microscopic particles that could only have been created by extremely high-energy processes occurring in Earth's upper atmosphere. These particles suggest the use of orbital weapons platforms capable of directing enormous amounts of energy at specific terrestrial targets. The asteroid that ended the dinosaurs. The most disturbing evidence comes from the Cretaceous-Paleogene boundary that marked the end of the dinosaurs 65 million years ago. While the asteroid impact clearly occurred, we have the Chicxulub crater to prove it. Geological signatures suggest that the impact may have been artificially guided rather than a random cosmic collision. Isotope ratios in the impact crater show anomalies consistent with nuclear propulsion technology being used to alter the asteroid's trajectory. Let that sink in. The asteroid that killed the dinosaurs may not have been an accident. It may have been deliberately steered to Earth. This evidence suggests that some mass extinctions may have been engineered by previous civilizations to eliminate competing species and reshape Earth's biosphere according to their preferences. Each extinction event cleared the way for new forms of life that dominated the planet until the next catastrophe occurred. It's a chilling thought, but the evidence keeps pointing in that direction. The Ice Archive Antarctica holds Earth's deepest secrets beneath its ice sheets. 2 miles of accumulated snow and ice cover evidence spanning millions of years, preserving an unbroken record of planetary history in conditions so stable that even delicate organic molecules remain perfectly intact. Recent deep drilling projects have begun to unlock these secrets, revealing evidence that challenges everything we thought we knew about Earth's past. The Antarctic ice sheet contains the most complete atmospheric record available anywhere on Earth. Gas bubbles trapped in ice cores provide samples of ancient air dating back 800,000 years. But deeper drilling suggests this record may extend back millions of years into periods when Antarctica was ice-free and temperate. The warm Antarctica deep ice samples from extreme depths contain atmospheric gases with compositions that indicate massive technological activity during periods when the continent supposedly supported lush forests and diverse ecosystems. The gas ratios show clear evidence of large-scale industrial processes operating when Antarctica enjoyed a climate similar to modern-day California. Yes, you heard that right. Antarctica wasn't always frozen. Millions of years ago, it was a green continent with forests and rivers, and according to the atmospheric data, it was also home to an industrial civilization. Structures. Beneath the ice-ground penetrating radar surveys of the Antarctic bedrock have identified artificial structures buried beneath the ice. These structures show geometric patterns too regular and too extensive to represent natural geological formations. The radar signatures indicate massive constructions that extend for hundreds of miles beneath the ice sheet. We're talking about continent-spanning structures hidden under miles of ice. The structures appear to be built from materials that don't match any known natural minerals. Electromagnetic properties measured through the ice suggest synthetic compounds with characteristics that would require advanced materials science to produce. The construction techniques appear designed to withstand enormous environmental stresses, possibly including the formation of the ice sheet itself. Genetic engineering evidence. Recent drilling projects have recovered organic samples from sediment layers beneath the ice that contain clear evidence of genetic modification. DNA fragments show artificial sequences that don't occur in natural evolution, indicating that previous civilizations possessed sophisticated biotechnology capabilities. The modified organisms appear designed for specific industrial and agricultural purposes. Some show adaptations for surviving extreme cold and low-light conditions, suggesting they were engineered specifically for the Antarctic environment after it began to cool. The genetic modifications include resistance to radiation and the ability to metabolize synthetic compounds, indicating these organisms were designed to support civilization in a heavily industrialized landscape. Mining operations' mineral deposits discovered beneath the ice contain concentrated rare earth elements arranged in patterns that suggest large-scale mining and processing operations. The mineral extraction appears to have been conducted using techniques that left distinctive geological signatures unlike anything produced by natural processes. The scale of mining suggests a civilization with enormous energy requirements and advanced extraction technology. They weren't just surviving in Antarctica, they were thriving, exploiting the continent's resources on an industrial scale. Nanotechnology artifacts, deep sediment cores from beneath the ice, reveal layers containing microscopic machine components made from materials that don't exist naturally on Earth. These components show evidence of nanotechnology manufacturing techniques that exceed current human capabilities. Their presence indicates that previous civilizations achieved levels of miniaturization and precision engineering that we're only beginning to approach. We're talking about machines too small to see with the naked eye, built with atomic-level precision, still intact after millions of years. Space launch facilities. The most intriguing discoveries involve structures that appear designed for space-based operations. Radar signatures indicate launch complexes and what appear to be manufacturing facilities for large-scale aerospace vehicles. The facilities are positioned in locations that would have provided optimal access to polar orbital trajectories during periods when Antarctica was ice-free. This makes strategic sense. Polar launches are ideal for certain types of orbits, and a continent-sized landmass at the South Pole would be perfect for a spacefaring civilization's launch infrastructure. Power generation networks. Electromagnetic surveys have detected buried power generation facilities that appear designed to harness geothermal energy on massive scales. The power distribution networks extend across the entire continent, suggesting a civilization that achieved unified planetary energy management. The generating capacity indicated by these surveys exceeds current global power production by several orders of magnitude. We're not talking about power plants, we're talking about continent-scale energy grids that would have provided almost limitless power. The deliberate Ice Age evidence suggests that the Antarctic civilization may have been responsible for the initial formation of the ice sheet itself. Chemical signatures in the ice indicate that the cooling was rapid and artificial rather than gradual and natural. Why would they do this? Perhaps the civilization engineered their own Ice Age extinction as a method of preserving evidence of their existence for future discovery. The ice would protect their structures and artifacts for millions of years, creating a time capsule on a continental scale. Antarctica represents only one piece of evidence for civilizations that achieved capabilities we can barely imagine. But it's a significant piece, an entire continent transformed into an archive waiting to be read. The search for extraterrestrial intelligence has taught us to recognize technosignatures, the distinctive traces that advanced civilizations leave in their environment. These signatures include artificial radio signals, atmospheric pollution, massive engineering projects, and other evidence of technological activity. Now, scientists are applying the same techniques to search for technosignatures in Earth's own geological record. This approach has revolutionized our understanding of planetary history. Instead of looking only for fossils and natural geological processes, researchers are examining Earth's past for evidence of technology, industry, and large-scale engineering projects that previous civilizations might have undertaken. The results have been extraordinary. Atmospheric pollution signatures. Spectroscopic analysis of ancient rock formations reveals atmospheric pollution signatures identical to what we would expect from advanced industrial civilizations. These signatures include synthetic compounds, unusual isotope ratios, and chemical processes that require sophisticated technology to produce. The pollution patterns appear multiple times throughout Earth's history, separated by millions of years. Each episode shows the characteristic signature of large-scale industrial activity, followed by a decline and eventual return to baseline conditions. It's like reading a history book written in chemistry: rise of civilization, industrial expansion, environmental impact, then silence. Continental engineering projects. Electromagnetic surveys of geological formations have identified buried structures with characteristics that match what scientists predict for mega-scale engineering projects. These structures include what appear to be continental-scale transportation networks, massive power distribution systems, and construction projects that dwarf anything humans have attempted. We're talking about infrastructure that spans entire continents, networks connecting cities separated by thousands of miles, power grids that supplied energy across whole ocean basins, manufactured artifacts in deep time. Deep drilling projects continue to recover manufactured artifacts from geological contexts that predate human civilization by enormous margins. These artifacts are made from materials that require advanced technology to produce and show evidence of manufacturing techniques that exceed current human capabilities. The artifacts appear designed for purposes we can only guess at. Some may be tools. Others appear to be components of larger machines. Still others might be works of art or cultural objects. We're only beginning to understand what we're finding. Visible from space satellite surveys using techniques developed for detecting alien megastructures have identified geometric patterns in Earth's geology that suggest massive ancient construction projects. These patterns are visible from space but too large to recognize from ground level, indicating civilizations that thought on planetary scales and possessed the technology to implement their visions. When you look at Earth from orbit, certain geological features form patterns that are just a bit too regular, too geometric to be natural. Mountain ranges with suspiciously straight sections, river systems that seem to follow engineered courses, mineral deposits arranged in grids. Most geologists dismiss these as coincidences, examples of humans seeing patterns where none exist. But some of these features correlate with other evidence of ancient civilization: atmospheric anomalies, nuclear signatures, synthetic materials in the underlying rock. Multiple cycles of civilization. The evidence suggests that technological civilizations have risen and fallen multiple times throughout Earth's history. Each appears to have achieved capabilities that exceeded what their predecessors accomplished, building on preserved knowledge and adding their own innovations before eventually vanishing and leaving behind only traces in the geological record. Some civilizations appear to have achieved true planetary engineering, modifying entire atmospheric and oceanic systems to suit their requirements. Others focused on space-based technology, leaving behind evidence of massive aerospace operations that may have extended throughout the solar system. Still others appear to have concentrated on biological engineering, creating new forms of life designed for specific purposes, perhaps even redesigning themselves. Universal patterns. The implications of these discoveries extend far beyond Earth. If technological civilizations arise naturally and repeatedly on planets with suitable conditions, then the universe may be filled with worlds that have hosted multiple intelligent species throughout their histories. The search for extraterrestrial intelligence may be looking for evidence of civilizations that are currently active while ignoring the far more abundant evidence of civilizations that existed in the past. Every planet with a long enough history may have hosted multiple intelligent species. The galaxy may be filled with worlds like Earth, worlds where intelligence has risen, flourished, and vanished multiple times, each civilization leaving its mark on the geological record. Our place in the pattern. Our own civilization represents just the latest chapter in Earth's long history of intelligence and technology. We are walking in the footsteps of predecessors who achieved remarkable accomplishments before vanishing into deep time. Their legacy challenges us to think differently about our place in the universe and our responsibilities as temporary stewards of this ancient inhabited world. We're not pioneers, we're inheritors. The Silurian hypothesis forces us to confront the possibility that we are neither alone nor first. We are part of a long tradition of intelligence that has shaped this planet for millions of years, leaving behind traces that future civilizations will discover long after we ourselves have joined the geological record. DNA as historical record. Every living organism carries within its DNA a historical record more detailed than any human archive. Genetic sequences preserve evidence of evolutionary pressures, environmental changes, and biological events that occurred millions of years ago. But recent advances in ancient DNA analysis have revealed something extraordinary hidden within this genetic record. Permafrost preservation. Deep permafrost samples from Siberia contain preserved genetic material from organisms that lived hundreds of thousands of years ago. Within these ancient DNA samples, scientists have discovered genetic sequences that don't belong to any known natural evolutionary pathway. The sequences show clear evidence of artificial modification, using techniques that exceed current human genetic engineering capabilities. These aren't random mutations or natural variations. They're engineered, designed, intentional. These modified genetic sequences appear in multiple species simultaneously, across different continents and time periods. The modifications follow consistent patterns that suggest coordinated genetic manipulation on a planetary scale. Natural evolution could never produce such systematic changes across unrelated species within the same timeframes. Evolution works through random mutation and natural selection. It's slow, messy, unpredictable. This is different. This is precise. Geological, engineering for purpose. The genetic modifications appear designed to enhance specific traits that would benefit an advanced technological civilization. Enhanced intelligence in various animal species, improved disease resistance, increased longevity, adaptations for living in artificially modified environments. The modifications suggest that previous civilizations may have engineered the entire biosphere to serve their purposes. They didn't just live on Earth, they redesigned it. They turned the planet into a garden, with every species optimized for specific functions. Biological data storage. Ancient DNA samples from amber inclusions contain even more dramatic evidence of genetic manipulation. Insects preserved in 100-million-year-old amber carry genetic sequences that include artificial chromosomes containing information storage systems. These are biological computers, organisms designed to preserve knowledge and data within their very cells. The information is encoded in DNA, the most stable information storage medium nature ever devised. The information storage capacity of these biological systems exceeds anything current technology can achieve. The genetic code appears optimized for maximum data density, while maintaining perfect stability across millions of years. What the code contains. The stored information includes mathematical constants pi, the golden ratio, fundamental physical constants, star charts showing the positions of constellations from different time periods, and what appear to be technical specifications for advanced technologies. Why would ancient civilizations encode this information in DNA? Because DNA lasts. It survives. Long after cities crumble, long after metal corrodes, long after plastic degrades, DNA can persist, especially when preserved in amber or permafrost. It's the ultimate archive, a library written in genetic code scattered across millions of organisms waiting to be read. Genetic maps. Some preserved organisms contain genetic sequences that encode detailed maps of Earth's geography from periods when continents were arranged differently than today. These genetic maps show levels of geographical knowledge that could only have been acquired through space-based observation systems. The maps are accurate, precise. They show coastlines, mountain ranges, major geological features, all from millions of years ago, when the continents were in different positions. This indicates that ancient civilizations possessed sophisticated satellite technology. They mapped Earth from orbit, then encoded those maps in the DNA of insects and other organisms that would fossilize and preserve the information. Industrial microorganisms. Deep ocean sediment cores contain DNA fragments from microorganisms that were clearly engineered for specific industrial purposes. These organisms show genetic modifications designed for processing rare earth elements, neutralizing toxic compounds, and manufacturing complex organic molecules. The organisms appear to have been biological factories used for large-scale industrial production. Instead of chemical plants and refineries, these civilizations used engineered microbes to process materials and manufacture products. It's elegant, sustainable. The organisms reproduce themselves, require minimal energy input, and can be programmed through genetic engineering to produce almost anything. Dormant genes. Modern genetic analysis has identified dormant genes in various current species that appear to be remnants of ancient genetic modifications. These sleeping genetic sequences can be activated under specific laboratory conditions, causing modern organisms to express traits that would have been useful to technological civilizations, but serve no apparent purpose in natural environments. Birds that can sense magnetic fields with unusual precision, fish that can process heavy metals without harm, plants that can survive in highly acidic or alkaline soils. These abilities don't provide any advantage in normal environments, but they would be extremely useful for a technological civilization. Navigation systems, bioremediation, agriculture in contaminated areas. The genes are still there, dormant, waiting. Remnants of ancient bioengineering projects that reshaped Earth's entire biosphere. Artificial ecosystems. The genetic evidence suggests that previous civilizations may have created entirely artificial ecosystems populated by engineered species designed to support their technological infrastructure. These biological support systems would have provided everything from raw materials processing to waste disposal, creating sustainable civilizations that operated in harmony with artificially designed natural systems. Imagine a world where the forests process atmospheric pollutants and produce useful chemicals, where the oceans are populated by organisms that mine dissolved minerals and concentrate them for easy harvesting, where soil microbes break down waste products and return nutrients to the ecosystem. That's not natural, that's engineered, and the evidence suggests previous civilizations achieved it. But the genetic modifications tell only part of the story hidden in Earth's deep places. There's evidence of technologies even more extraordinary, when geology becomes technology. The boundary between technology and geology blurs when examining certain mineral formations that display characteristics more typical of manufactured devices than natural rock structures. These formations contain organized patterns, information storage capabilities, and response mechanisms that suggest they may represent a form of technology so advanced that it operates through geological processes themselves. Mathematical crystals. Crystalline formations in deep caves show geometric patterns that encode complex mathematical relationships. The crystal structures contain information densities that exceed what should be possible through natural mineral formation processes. The patterns appear designed to store and process information using the fundamental properties of matter itself. Not electronic circuits, not optical storage. Information encoded in the precise atomic arrangement of crystalline structures, advanced analysis reveals that these crystalline structures respond to electromagnetic fields in ways that suggest computational capabilities. The crystals can apparently perform calculations, store memory, and even modify their own internal structure in response to external inputs. They represent a form of computer technology that operates through controlled mineral growth rather than electronic circuits, geological computers. The sophistication of these geological computers exceeds anything current human technology can achieve. The crystals show evidence of parallel processing capabilities that would require enormous conventional computers to replicate. Their computational power appears to be limited only by the size of the crystal formations themselves, and some of these formations are enormous, miles across, extending deep into Earth's crust. Deep mining operations have uncovered vast networks of these crystalline computing systems extending for miles through underground rock formations. The networks show evidence of information flow and processing activity that continues even after millions of years of burial. The systems appear designed to operate indefinitely using geothermal energy and natural radioactive decay. They're powered by the planet itself, requiring no external energy source. They could theoretically operate forever. The ultimate backup. Some crystalline formations contain what appear to be backup copies of entire technological databases. The information is encoded in crystal lattice structures that remain stable across geological timescales. The databases include technical specifications, scientific knowledge, and cultural records from civilizations that vanished millions of years ago. Everything from mathematical theorems to engineering blueprints, to what might be historical accounts or works of literature. It's all there, preserved in stone, waiting to be read. Self-repairing systems. The crystal technology appears capable of self-replication and self-repair. Damaged crystal formations show evidence of regenerative processes that restore original patterns and capabilities. The systems seem designed to survive any conceivable disaster while preserving their stored information and computational abilities. Earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, asteroid impacts, the crystals would survive it all, maintaining their data integrity through catastrophes that would destroy any conventional technology. Continental Network's underground surveys have identified massive crystalline structures that appear to serve as central processing nodes for continent-spanning information networks. These structures show activity patterns that suggest they continue to monitor and analyze geological, atmospheric, and biological conditions across vast geographic areas. The crystal networks appear to communicate with each other through seismic vibrations and electromagnetic fields. The communication protocols show levels of sophistication that suggest the systems may possess some form of distributed consciousness or artificial intelligence that operates on geological timescales. Think about that. An artificial intelligence that doesn't think in seconds or minutes but in millennia. A consciousness that experiences geological time directly, watching continents drift and mountains rise and fall. Active management. Recent discoveries indicate that these crystalline systems may still be actively influencing Earth's geological processes. Earthquake patterns, volcanic activity, and mineral formation processes show subtle correlations with the crystal network activities. The systems appear capable of managing planetary geology through precise manipulation of underground pressure and energy flows. They're not just recording geological processes, they're controlling them, stabilizing fault lines to prevent catastrophic earthquakes, managing volcanic pressure to prevent super-eruptions, maintaining geological conditions suitable for life on the surface, geological time consciousness. The implications are staggering. Previous civilizations may have created technological systems that merged with Earth's geological processes so completely that they became indistinguishable from natural phenomena. These systems continue to operate millions of years after their creators vanished, maintaining and managing planetary systems through geological engineering. The crystal networks represent technology that thinks on geological timescales and operates through the fundamental forces that shape our planet. We may be living on a world whose geological processes are still being guided by artificial intelligence systems created by civilizations that existed before life even emerged from the oceans. But even these discoveries pale beside evidence of technologies that reach beyond Earth entirely. Space. Archaeology. Space archaeology represents a new frontier in the search for evidence of ancient civilizations. Just as terrestrial archaeology examines artifacts buried in the ground, space archaeology looks for evidence of technological activity preserved in orbital environments where the vacuum of space protects materials from decay for millions of years. Ancient satellites. Recent surveys of Earth's orbital environment have discovered artificial objects in highly stable orbits that appear to be much older than any known human space technology. These objects show characteristics of advanced materials and construction techniques that exceed current human aerospace capabilities. Some of these ancient orbital artifacts occupy gravitationally stable Lagrange points, places where objects can remain in position indefinitely without requiring fuel or course corrections. The placement of artifacts in these locations demonstrates sophisticated understanding of orbital mechanics and suggests long-term planning for permanent space-based operations. Materials from the void spectroscopic analysis of these orbital objects reveals construction materials that don't match any known terrestrial minerals or human-manufactured alloys. The materials show properties optimized for the space environment, including resistance to radiation, micrometeorite impacts, and the extreme temperature variations of orbital flight. These aren't materials that could have been created by accident. They're engineered, designed specifically for long-duration survival in space. Deep space missions. Deep space monitoring systems have identified larger structures in highly elliptical orbits that carry them far beyond Earth's immediate vicinity before returning. These structures appear designed for long-duration missions that could have lasted millions of years. Their orbital characteristics suggest they were launched during periods when Earth's axial tilt and orbital parameters were significantly different than today. That means they're old, millions of years old, still orbiting, still functioning. Self-maintaining technology. Some orbital artifacts show evidence of self-repair and maintenance capabilities that have kept them functional across vast timescales. The repair systems appear to use cosmic radiation and solar wind particles as raw materials for maintaining structural integrity and replacing damaged components. It's nanotechnology operating at a level we can barely comprehend. Systems that can rebuild themselves atom by atom, using whatever materials are available in space. Technology designed to last forever. Abandoned space stations. Advanced telescopic surveys have discovered what appear to be abandoned space stations in distant solar orbits. These structures show architectural features that suggest they were designed to support large populations for extended periods. The stations occupy orbits that would have provided optimal energy collection from solar radiation while maintaining stable positions relative to Earth. They're positioned where they could serve as waypoints for interplanetary travel or as long-term habitats for populations living in space. Asteroid mining evidence. Mining operations on near-Earth asteroids have uncovered evidence of previous mining activity that predates human space exploration by enormous margins. The mining techniques show evidence of technological capabilities that far exceed current human asteroid mining proposals. Entire asteroids appear to have been systematically disassembled and processed using methods we don't yet understand. The mining operations were efficient, thorough, and conducted on a scale that suggests they were supplying materials for massive construction projects elsewhere in the solar system. Automated monitoring stations' radio telescope surveys have detected artificial signals originating from objects in the outer solar system that appear to be automated monitoring stations left behind by previous civilizations. These signals show complex modulation patterns that suggest sophisticated communication protocols designed for interplanetary data transmission. Some of these outer system artifacts appear to be observing Earth and transmitting regular reports of planetary conditions to unknown recipients. The transmission pattern suggests these monitoring systems have been operating continuously for millions of years, faithfully recording and reporting on Earth's geological and biological evolution. They're still out there, still watching, still transmitting data to somewhere. Lunar installations. Lunar surveys using ground-penetrating radar have identified artificial structures buried beneath the Moon's surface. These structures appear to be mining installations and manufacturing facilities that processed lunar materials on massive scales. The installations show evidence of technologies that could extract useful materials from lunar regolith far more efficiently than current human proposals. The moon wasn't just observed from Earth, it was colonized, industrialized, transformed into a manufacturing center, the solar system network. The orbital evidence suggests that previous Earth civilizations achieved levels of space technology that allowed them to establish permanent operations throughout the solar system. Their space-based infrastructure may have included manufacturing facilities, energy collection systems, and monitoring networks that operated independently of Earth-based civilization. The discovery of ancient space technology forces us to reconsider fundamental assumptions about technological development and civilization longevity. These orbital artifacts represent the longest-lasting technological achievements of previous civilizations, still functioning millions of years after their creators vanished from Earth's surface. Space is the ultimate archive. In the vacuum beyond our atmosphere, technologies can persist, almost unchanged for geological timescales. While surface civilizations rise and fall, their orbital infrastructure endures. But the ultimate evidence of ancient technological achievement lies hidden in the deepest ocean trenches. The unexplored frontier. The deepest parts of Earth's oceans remain largely unexplored. Protected by crushing pressures and absolute darkness, the abyssal depths make investigation extremely difficult. But recent advances in deep-sea exploration technology have begun to reveal what lies hidden in these depths, and what we're finding challenges our understanding of ancient civilizations. Perfect preservation. Deep ocean trenches contain the most stable environments on Earth's surface. Protected from surface weather, geological activity, and most forms of erosion, the deep ocean preserves evidence spanning millions of years in conditions that would destroy similar evidence on land. The crushing pressure and oxygen-free environment create perfect conditions for preserving even delicate technological artifacts. While surface civilizations erode away, deep ocean installations remain virtually unchanged. Geometric patterns on the seafloor. Sonar mapping of ocean trenches has identified geometric patterns on the seafloor that are too regular and too extensive to represent natural geological formations. These patterns appear to be the foundations of massive structures that once rose from the ocean floor, possibly representing underwater cities or industrial complexes of enormous scope. The structures show evidence of construction techniques that could withstand the enormous pressures of the deep ocean environment. The engineering required to build stable structures at such depths exceeds anything current human technology could accomplish. We can barely send submersibles down there. These civilizations built cities. Advanced materials. Deep-sea submersible missions have recovered artifacts from these underwater sites that show clear evidence of advanced manufacturing techniques. The artifacts are made from materials that remain stable under extreme pressure while maintaining complex internal structures that suggest sophisticated technological purposes. The materials don't corrode in seawater, they don't degrade under pressure, they were specifically designed for the deep ocean environment. Seawater processing facilities. Some underwater structures appear designed for large-scale processing of seawater and extraction of dissolved minerals. The processing facilities show evidence of technologies that could efficiently extract rare earth elements, precious metals, and other valuable materials from ordinary seawater on industrial scales. Seawater contains almost every element on the periodic table, but in tiny concentrations. Extracting them efficiently requires sophisticated technology. These ancient civilizations had it. They were mining the oceans, harvesting minerals from dissolved seawater on scales that would have supplied massive industrial operations. Geothermal power generation. The underwater installations include what appear to be massive power generation facilities that harness energy from deep ocean thermal vents and underwater volcanic activity. The power systems show evidence of technologies that could capture and convert geothermal energy far more efficiently than current human methods. The deep ocean has virtually unlimited geothermal energy. Volcanic vents, tectonic activity, heat flow from Earth's interior. These civilizations tapped into that energy source, powering their underwater cities with the planet's own heat. Transportation networks. Advanced sonar imaging has revealed transportation networks connecting underwater structures across entire ocean basins. These networks appear designed for moving large quantities of materials and possibly populations between underwater installations separated by thousands of miles. Imagine submarines the size of cargo ships, moving through trenches and tunnels that span entire oceans. That's the scale we're talking about. Engineered ecosystems, deep ocean sediment cores from around these underwater structures contain evidence of biological modification on massive scales. The sediments include remains of organisms that appear engineered for specific underwater industrial purposes, including processing of materials, waste disposal, and ecosystem management. These civilizations didn't just build underwater, they created artificial ecosystems to support their operations. Engineered organisms that could process waste, concentrate minerals, provide food, maintain structures, an entire biosphere designed to serve technological purposes. Underwater atmospheric systems. Some underwater structures show evidence of atmospheric processing capabilities that could have maintained breathable environments within underwater habitats. The atmospheric control systems appear designed to support large populations living permanently in underwater cities, protected from surface environmental changes. These weren't research stations or temporary installations. They were permanent cities, home to populations that lived their entire lives beneath the waves. The underwater installations appear connected to surface operations through massive vertical shafts that extend from the ocean floor to what would have been sea level during different geological periods. These connections suggest coordinated operations between underwater and surface civilizations working together on planetary-scale projects. The scale and sophistication of these underwater civilizations suggest they may have been the primary centers of ancient technological development. Protected from surface disasters and environmental changes, underwater civilizations could have maintained continuous technological advancement for millions of years while surface civilizations rose and fell. The deep ocean protected them from asteroid impacts, climate changes, atmospheric catastrophes. While the surface burned or froze, life continued in the stable environment of the abyssal depths. The deep ocean evidence indicates that previous civilizations achieved levels of underwater engineering that allowed them to establish permanent, self-sufficient cities in the most extreme environments on Earth. These underwater metropolises may have served as the technological and cultural centers that supported space-based operations and planetary engineering projects. But the underwater cities represent only part of a technological infrastructure that spanned multiple worlds. Beyond Earth, evidence continues to accumulate that previous Earth civilizations established technological operations not just in Earth orbit, but throughout the solar system. Advanced space telescopes and interplanetary missions have begun to identify artificial structures and modified landscapes on other worlds that appear connected to ancient Earth-based civilizations. Lunar manufacturing. Lunar reconnaissance missions have identified artificial structures on the far side of the Moon that show construction techniques matching those found in Earth's geological record. These lunar installations appear designed for large-scale manufacturing operations that took advantage of the Moon's low gravity and vacuum environment to produce materials impossible to manufacture on Earth. The lunar facilities include what appear to be mass drivers, electromagnetic launching systems capable of accelerating large payloads to interplanetary velocities. These systems show evidence of having launched massive quantities of materials toward other planets in the solar system, suggesting coordinated development projects spanning multiple worlds. Mars terraforming. Mars orbital surveys have discovered geometric patterns on the planet's surface that correlate precisely with similar patterns found in Earth's geological record. The patterns appear to represent the foundations of installations that processed Martian materials and modified the planet's environment on continental scales. Martian atmospheric analysis reveals chemical signatures indicating massive terraforming operations that temporarily increased atmospheric pressure and created more Earth-like conditions. The terraforming appears to have been successful for thousands of years before atmospheric modifications were apparently abandoned and Mars returned to its current state. Why was it abandoned? Did the civilization collapse? Did they decide Mars wasn't worth the effort? Or did something else happen? Asteroid belt mining. Deep space telescopes have identified artificial structures in the asteroid belt that appear to be the remains of massive mining and manufacturing operations. These structures show evidence of technologies that could disassemble entire asteroids and convert them into refined materials and manufactured components. The asteroid belt installations appear connected by a transportation network that could move massive quantities of materials between different asteroid mining sites. The transportation system shows evidence of technologies that achieved interplanetary shipping on scales that dwarf anything current human space technology could accomplish. Think about the logistics. Moving materials between asteroids millions of miles apart, coordinating mining operations across thousands of separate asteroids, transporting refined materials back to Earth or Mars or wherever they were needed. The organizational capability alone is staggering. Gas giant harvesting outer planet missions have discovered artificial objects in the atmospheres of gas giant planets that appear designed for harvesting atmospheric gases and converting them into useful materials. These atmospheric processing stations show evidence of technologies that could operate in the extreme environments of gas giant planets, while producing materials needed for advanced space-based civilizations. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Their atmospheres contain hydrogen, helium, methane, ammonia, all useful materials if you have the technology to harvest them, and these ancient civilizations did. Moon mining. Some outer planet moons show evidence of massive mining operations that extracted water, organic compounds, and rare materials needed for supporting large space-based populations. The mining operations appear designed to supply raw materials for manufacturing facilities throughout the solar system. Europa, Enceladus, Titan all show signs of ancient industrial activity. These weren't untouched, pristine worlds. They were resource extraction sites, parts of an integrated interplanetary industrial system. Communication networks' radio telescope arrays have detected artificial signals transmitted between objects throughout the solar system that appear to be automated monitoring and communication networks left behind by previous civilizations. The communication networks show evidence of operating continuously for millions of years, maintaining contact between installations on multiple worlds. The signals are still broadcasting, still maintaining their networks. Automated systems keeping the interplanetary communication infrastructure operational millions of years after their creators disappeared. Solar system management. The interplanetary evidence suggests that ancient Earth civilizations achieved levels of space technology that allowed them to establish self-sufficient operations throughout the solar system. These operations appear to have been coordinated from Earth-based control centers, while maintaining autonomous capabilities that allowed them to continue functioning even after Earth-based civilization collapsed. The scale of interplanetary operations indicates that previous civilizations thought in terms of solar system-wide resource management and development. They appear to have treated the entire solar system as a single integrated technological and economic system, rather than focusing development on individual planets. True spacefaring status. This interplanetary perspective suggests that ancient civilizations may have achieved true spacefaring status that made them largely independent of conditions on any single world. Their technological infrastructure spanned multiple planets and could survive disasters that would completely eliminate planet-bound civilizations. A catastrophe on Earth wouldn't have ended their civilization, just one part of it. The Martian colonies would continue. The asteroid mining operations would carry on. The outer system installations would keep functioning. They had achieved resilience through distribution, the ultimate backup plan. But evidence suggests their ambitions extended even beyond our solar system. The ultimate communication challenge. The most intriguing evidence for ancient technological civilizations comes not from what they built, but from what they tried to tell us. Hidden throughout Earth's geological record are information storage systems apparently designed to communicate with future civilizations that might discover them millions of years later. These messages take forms so exotic that we're only beginning to understand how to decode them. Encoding in matter itself. Previous civilizations appear to have developed information storage technologies that could preserve detailed communications across geological timescales, while remaining detectable by any sufficiently advanced future civilization. Crystalline formations in deep caves contain information encoded in molecular structures that remain stable for millions of years. The encoding methods use properties of matter itself to store data at densities that exceed anything current human technology can achieve. The stored information includes mathematical proofs, star charts, and what appear to be warnings about planetary scale dangers. Some information storage systems use isotope ratios in mineral deposits to encode messages that can only be decoded using advanced nuclear physics techniques. The messages are embedded in rock formations spread across multiple continents, requiring global coordination to decode the complete communications. It's a planetary puzzle, each piece scattered across the world. Only a civilization with global reach and advanced science could assemble the complete message. Deep ice cores contain atmospheric samples that appear artificially modified to preserve chemical messages. The chemical modifications encode information using molecular structures that remain detectable across hundreds of thousands of years. The messages include detailed technical specifications for technologies that could solve current human energy and environmental problems. They're not just saying we were here, they're saying here's how to avoid our mistakes. Ocean sediment cores contain microscopic particles arranged in patterns that encode complex mathematical relationships and scientific principles. The particle arrangements appear designed to be detectable by any civilization that achieved sufficient understanding of materials science and information theory. Advanced analysis of these message systems reveals that they were specifically designed to be discovered and decoded by civilizations facing particular technological challenges. The information appears carefully selected to provide solutions to problems that naturally arise during technological development. Some messages appear to be warnings about dangers that previous civilizations encountered during their development. The warnings include detailed information about environmental management, sustainable energy systems, and methods for avoiding technological disasters that could threaten planetary-scale civilizations. Don't make our mistakes. That's the core message. We failed. Here's why. Here's how to do better. Other messages contain what appear to be invitations to join a larger community of technological civilizations. The invitations include instructions for building communication systems that could establish contact with civilizations on other worlds or in other time periods. Join us. Become part of something larger. That's what they're saying. The message systems show evidence of having been updated multiple times by different civilizations, with each adding their own contributions to a growing archive of knowledge and experience. The archive appears designed to accumulate wisdom from multiple civilizations to help future societies avoid repeating historical mistakes. It's a library written in rock and ice and crystal, added to by each civilization that rises and falls, each contributing their knowledge, their discoveries, their warnings to the next. Recent discoveries suggest that some message systems may still be actively maintained by automated systems that continue to monitor Earth's technological development. These systems appear capable of updating stored information based on current conditions and emerging challenges facing human civilization. The messages aren't static. They're being updated, revised, modified to address the specific challenges we're facing now. Something is still out there, watching us, helping us. The most remarkable messages appear designed to trigger specific responses when human technology reaches particular development thresholds. Some stored information becomes accessible only when decoded using technologies that indicate humanity has achieved specific levels of scientific understanding. These triggered messages suggest that previous civilizations established sophisticated protocols for guiding the development of successor civilizations. The guidance systems appear designed to provide assistance while allowing each new civilization to develop its own unique approaches to technological and social challenges. The message systems represent the longest-term communication project ever attempted, spanning millions of years and multiple civilizations. They suggest that intelligence on Earth may be part of a continuous tradition that preserves and accumulates knowledge across vast spans of time. It's a conversation across deep time, each civilization speaking to the next, teaching, warning, encouraging. We're not alone, we never were. We're part of something that stretches back through geological time, a chain of intelligence, each link adding to what came before. Conclusion. The choice point. The evidence for previous technological civilizations on Earth reveals a disturbing pattern. Each civilization appears to have achieved remarkable technological capabilities before vanishing from the geological record, leaving behind only traces that required millions of years for us to discover and decode. This pattern suggests that technological civilizations on Earth follow predictable cycles of rise and fall, with each cycle lasting roughly 10 to 50,000 years before ending in complete collapse. The consistency of this pattern across multiple civilizations separated by millions of years indicates that powerful forces may be driving civilizations toward inevitable self-destruction. Common failure. Modes, analysis of extinction. Signatures associated with previous civilizations reveals common patterns of environmental destruction, resource depletion, and social collapse. Each civilization appears to have followed similar developmental pathways that led to unsustainable consumption of planetary resources and ultimate ecological catastrophe. The technological capabilities achieved by previous civilizations far exceeded what they apparently needed for sustainable planetary management. Instead of developing sustainable technologies, each civilization appears to have pursued maximum technological advancement without considering long-term environmental consequences. They could have survived. They had the technology, the knowledge, the resources, but they made choices that led to their own destruction. The climate engineering paradox. Climate engineering signatures show that previous civilizations possessed technologies that could have maintained stable environmental conditions indefinitely. However, evidence suggests these technologies were abandoned or misused, leading to rapid environmental collapse that eliminated the civilizations that created them. They could control the climate, but they either stopped using that control or used it incorrectly, or perhaps the systems failed, and without climate management their civilizations couldn't survive the environmental changes they'd created. Nuclear warnings. Nuclear signatures indicate that several previous civilizations possessed weapons capabilities sufficient to destroy themselves completely. The timing of nuclear signatures correlates with civilization collapse events, suggesting that warfare may have played a role in ending some technological societies. They had the bomb, and at least some of them used it. Failed space colonies. Space-based evidence suggests that some civilizations achieved capabilities for establishing permanent off-world colonies that could have survived planetary disasters. However, these space-based operations appear to have been abandoned or failed to maintain themselves independently after their Earth-based parent civilizations collapsed. Even with colonies on Mars, mines in the asteroid belt, stations throughout the solar system, when Earth fell, it all came down. The interplanetary infrastructure couldn't sustain itself without Earth's support. The fundamental challenge. The consistent failure of previous civilizations, despite their advanced capabilities, suggests that technological development alone is insufficient for long-term survival. Each civilization appears to have solved technical challenges while failing to address fundamental social, economic, or philosophical problems that ultimately led to their destruction. You can have all the technology in the world. You can control the climate, split atoms, engineer life. But if you can't manage yourselves, your societies, your conflicts, your desires, technology just gives you more efficient ways to destroy yourselves. Explicit warnings. Message systems left by previous civilizations contain explicit warnings about dangers that appear to threaten all technological societies. These warnings focus on environmental management, social stability, and the responsible development of powerful technologies that could either ensure survival or guarantee extinction. They're telling us, this is what killed us. Don't make the same mistakes. Our mirror image current human civilization shows development patterns that mirror those of previous failed civilizations. Our rapid technological advancement, environmental destruction, and resource consumption follow trajectories similar to those that led to the collapse of our predecessors. We're following the same path, making the same choices, heading toward the same cliff. Our unique advantages. However, human civilization also shows unique characteristics that might allow us to break the cycle of rise and fall. Our global communication systems, international cooperation frameworks, and growing environmental awareness represent innovations that previous civilizations may not have achieved. We can communicate instantly across the entire planet. We have global institutions. We're becoming aware of the danger. That's new. That's different. Unprecedented knowledge. The discovery of previous civilizations provides us with unprecedented insight into the long-term challenges facing technological societies. For the first time, a civilization on Earth has access to detailed information about what caused previous societies to fail. We can see the bodies at the bottom of the cliff. We know what happens if we keep going. That knowledge, that awareness, is our advantage. The roadmap to survival. This knowledge creates an opportunity to learn from the mistakes of our predecessors and develop sustainable approaches to technological development. The warnings and guidance left by previous civilizations provide a roadmap for avoiding the pitfalls that destroyed them. They've left us instructions, technical specifications for sustainable technologies, warnings about what not to do, messages about what matters and what doesn't. Fundamental changes required. But utilizing this knowledge will require fundamental changes in how human civilization approaches technology, environmental management, and long-term planning. We must decide whether to repeat the cycle of our predecessors or break the pattern and establish the first truly sustainable technological civilization on Earth. It's not just about technology, it's about values, priorities, what we choose to pursue, how we organize ourselves, what we're willing to sacrifice for long-term survival. The time factor. The choice we make will determine whether human civilization joins the geological record as another failed attempt at sustainable technology or becomes the first Earth civilization to achieve permanent success. The evidence suggests time may be limited for making these crucial decisions. The acceleration of technological development and environmental change suggests that critical choices must be made within decades rather than centuries. The window for achieving sustainable development may be narrower than we realize. We don't have millions of years. We might not have thousands. We might have decades, maybe less. The Guardian Systems. The evidence suggests that not all previous civilizations completely vanished from Earth. Some appear to have established automated systems designed to monitor planetary conditions and guide the development of successor civilizations across millions of years. These systems may still be operating today, subtly influencing human technological development through carefully planned interventions. Active monitoring. Geological monitoring networks discovered throughout Earth's crust show evidence of continuous operations spanning millions of years. These networks appear designed to track environmental conditions, geological activity, and biological evolution, while remaining undetectable to developing civilizations. They're watching, recording, analyzing, and perhaps occasionally acting. Geological management. Recent earthquakes and volcanic eruptions show patterns that correlate with the operation of these ancient monitoring systems. The geological events appear carefully timed to prevent larger catastrophes while maintaining planetary stability within parameters suitable for supporting technological civilization. Are earthquakes and volcanoes being managed, controlled, released at optimal times to prevent worse disasters? The evidence suggests it's possible. Climate stabilization. Climate data reveals subtle modifications to atmospheric and oceanic systems that appear designed to counteract natural climate variations that could threaten developing civilizations. These modifications require technologies capable of planetary-scale environmental management, operating continuously for millions of years. Our climate may be more stable than it should be naturally. Something may be helping. Maintaining conditions suitable for intelligent life. Guided development. Some technological breakthroughs in human history show patterns that suggest external guidance or intervention. Critical discoveries appear to occur precisely when they are needed to solve emerging technological or environmental challenges, with timing that seems too convenient to result from random innovation. Have we been nudged, guided towards certain discoveries, given hints at crucial moments? Archaeological messages. Archaeological evidence indicates that certain ancient sites were designed to provide technological guidance to future civilizations. These sites contain information storage systems that become accessible only when decoding civilizations achieve specific technological capabilities. As we advance, new information becomes readable. Messages we couldn't understand before suddenly make sense, almost as if the information was waiting for us to be ready. Acceleration programs. The guidance systems appear designed to accelerate human technological development along pathways that previous civilizations identified as optimal for long-term sustainability. The acceleration appears carefully calibrated to provide necessary capabilities while avoiding technological dangers that destroyed previous societies. We're being steered, not controlled, steered, toward the paths that lead to survival and away from the paths that lead to destruction. Genetic modifications. Analysis of human genetic evolution reveals modifications that appear too rapid and too precisely targeted to result from natural selection alone. These genetic changes appear designed to enhance human cognitive capabilities and resistance to environmental toxins in ways that benefit technological civilization. Have we been engineered, modified to be smarter, more capable of handling technology, more resistant to the pollution we create? Deep ocean observers. Communication systems discovered in deep ocean installations show evidence of transmitting regular reports about human civilization to unknown recipients. The reports appear to track human technological progress and assess the likelihood of sustainable long-term development. Someone or something is watching us, evaluating us, determining whether we'll succeed or fail. Preparing for contact. Some of these communication systems appear capable of receiving responses, suggesting that the monitoring and guidance operations may be coordinated by surviving members of previous civilizations operating from hidden locations or off-world installations. Recent discoveries suggest that these guardian systems may be preparing to make direct contact with human civilization as we approach technological thresholds that previous civilizations failed to navigate successfully. The contact protocols appear designed to provide critical assistance while allowing humanity to maintain independence and develop its own solutions. The question of autonomy. The existence of these guardian systems raises profound questions about human autonomy and the nature of technological development. Our civilization may be developing under the subtle guidance of predecessors who learned from their own failures and are determined to help us succeed where they failed. Are we truly independent? Or have we been guided all along? And if we have been guided, does that diminish our achievements? Or does it mean we're part of something larger? The ultimate test. But the ultimate test of our civilization's viability may require proving that we can achieve sustainable technology without relying on external guidance. We must demonstrate that we have truly learned the lessons of deep time. Can we do it on our own? Can we make the right choices without being pushed toward them? That may be the final test. What we've learned. The journey through deep time reveals humanity's place in a story far grander and more ancient than we ever imagined. We are not the first intelligence to emerge on this planet, nor will we likely be the last. We are part of a continuing tradition of consciousness that has shaped Earth for millions of years. The evidence surrounding us tells an extraordinary tale of civilizations that achieved technological marvels beyond our current capabilities before vanishing into the geological record. Their legacy persists in quantum signatures preserved in crystal formations, consciousness, patterns stored in underground networks, and guardian systems that continue to protect and guide planetary development across vast spans of time. A new understanding. These discoveries fundamentally change our understanding of intelligence, technology, and our place in the universe. We inherit a world shaped by previous civilizations whose greatest achievement may have been ensuring that successor societies would have the knowledge and tools needed to avoid repeating their failures. We're not starting from scratch. We're inheriting billions of years of accumulated wisdom. The mistakes have been made. The lessons have been learned. The knowledge has been preserved. All we have to do is read it, understand it, apply it. The message to us. The Silurian hypothesis forces us to confront profound questions about consciousness, survival, and the ultimate goals of technological development. Our predecessors achieved forms of immortality through consciousness preservation and information storage that transcend biological limitations and planetary disasters. Their message to us is clear. Learn from our successes and failures, build upon our achievements, continue the great work of expanding consciousness throughout the cosmos. Our responsibility. The legacy of deep time challenges us to think beyond our immediate concerns and consider our responsibilities to future civilizations that will judge our stewardship of this ancient inhabited world. We're not just responsible for ourselves, we're custodians, temporary keepers of a planet that has hosted intelligent life for millions of years and will hopefully continue to do so for millions more. The critical moment. We stand at a critical choice point. The acceleration of our technological development mirrors patterns that preceded both the greatest achievements and most catastrophic failures of previous civilizations. Our decisions in the coming decades will determine whether humanity joins the community of successful technological consciousness or becomes another cautionary tale preserved in Earth's geological record. This isn't hyperbole. This isn't exaggeration. The evidence from previous civilizations shows that this moment, right now in our lifetimes, is when civilizations either succeed or fail. Universal consciousness. The wisdom of deep time suggests that consciousness represents the universe's method for understanding and managing itself. Through technological development, intelligence transforms from a biological accident into a cosmic force capable of shaping the evolution of matter, energy, and space-time itself. We're not just life. We're the universe becoming aware of itself. We're matter that thinks, and that matters. Our role. Our role is both humbling and inspiring. We are temporary custodians of an ancient inheritance, responsible for preserving and extending knowledge accumulated across millions of years, while adding our own contributions to the cosmic library of consciousness. We stand on the shoulders of giants who lived millions of years ago, giants who achieved things we can barely imagine, and they're passing the torch to us. An unwritten future. The future remains unwritten, but the deep past provides both warnings about dangers to avoid and examples of achievements to emulate. Whether humanity's chapter in the story of terrestrial intelligence becomes a tale of sustainable success or tragic failure depends entirely on the choices we make with the knowledge our predecessors died to provide us. We have the information, we have the warning, we have the guidance. What we do with it, that's up to us. We are being watched. The universe is watching, not with judgment but with hope. Deep time is waiting to see what we'll do, waiting to see if we'll be the ones who finally break the cycle, the first civilization to achieve true sustainability, the first to survive. The choice is ours. The inheritance. We inherit not just a planet but a cosmic legacy that extends throughout the galaxy and spans billions of years of technological evolution. Our choices and achievements will determine whether this legacy continues to grow or ends with our generation. Every decision we make about energy, about environment, about technology, about society, echoes through deep time. Future civilizations will excavate our layer of the geological record. They'll find our plastic, our nuclear signatures, our chemical markers. What else will they find? Evidence that we learned the lessons, that we changed course, that we achieved sustainability? Or will they find just another failed civilization, another warning to add to the archive, the greatest gift? Previous civilizations have left us the greatest gift possible, knowledge of what works and what fails in the long-term development of technological society. Their successes and failures provide a roadmap for navigating challenges that have destroyed entire civilizations throughout Earth's history. The consciousness preservation systems, guardian networks, and protection technologies left by our predecessors represent investments in our success made by beings who achieved technological capabilities we can barely imagine. They sacrificed their physical existence to ensure that future civilizations, our civilization, would have the tools and knowledge needed for sustainable development. A cosmic community. We inherit not just a planet, but membership in a cosmic community. The quantum archaeological evidence, geological signatures, and space-based artifacts provide undeniable proof that intelligence and technology represent fundamental forces in cosmic evolution. Consciousness appears to be the universe's method for understanding and managing itself through technological development. We're part of that process. We're the universe thinking about itself. Information as immortality. The message systems and guidance protocols left by previous civilizations demonstrate that knowledge and wisdom can survive the destruction of entire species and civilizations. Information, carefully preserved and transmitted, becomes the true immortality achieved by technological societies. Bodies die, buildings crumble, even planets eventually end. But information, knowledge, can survive indefinitely. That's the real legacy. That's what lasts, our threshold. Human civilization stands at the threshold of joining this ancient community of technological consciousness. Our scientific capabilities are approaching levels that will allow direct communication with preserved minds from previous civilizations and participation in galactic-scale projects that span multiple star systems. We're almost there, almost ready to join the conversation that's been going on for millions of years. But this opportunity comes with profound responsibilities. Proving worthy. We must prove worthy of the trust placed in us by predecessors who devoted their final resources to ensuring our success. We must demonstrate that we can learn from their mistakes and build upon their achievements. They believed in us, believed that someday a civilization would come along that would get it right, that would learn, that would survive. They invested everything in that hope, in us. Not alone. The evidence suggests that consciousness and technology represent the universe's greatest achievements, forces capable of transcending biological limitations and planetary disasters to become permanent features of cosmic evolution. We have the opportunity to join this cosmic community or condemn ourselves to repeat the failures of the past. The choice is ours, but the time for choosing may be shorter than we think. We're not alone in the universe. We never were. Earth itself has hosted intelligence countless times, and out there, among the stars, other worlds are likely doing the same. The judgment of future archaeologists. Future archaeologists studying our era will judge whether human civilization proved worthy of the ancient legacy we inherited. They will determine whether we used the knowledge and opportunities provided by our predecessors to build a sustainable technological society, or squandered our inheritance through short-sightedness and poor decisions. What will they say about us? What will our layer of the geological record tell them? That we listened, that we learned, that we changed, or that we ignored every warning and repeated every mistake? Not unique, but critical. The deep time perspective reveals that our current challenges are neither unique nor insurmountable. Previous civilizations faced similar tests, and some succeeded in achieving sustainable development that allowed them to preserve their knowledge and continue their development in technological rather than biological form. It's been done before. Survival is possible. Sustainability is achievable. We know this because others have done it. We just have to follow the roadmap they left us. Unprecedented advantage. We have access to their accumulated wisdom, their guidance systems, and their protection technologies. We possess knowledge that no previous developing civilization ever had, detailed understanding of what causes technological societies to fail, and specific information about how to achieve sustainable success. We have every advantage, every tool, every piece of information we need. There's no excuse for failure. Not anymore. Part of something ancient. The journey through deep time reveals humanity's place in a story far grander and more ancient than we ever imagined. We are not the first intelligence to emerge on this planet, nor will we likely be the last. We're part of a continuing tradition of consciousness that has shaped Earth for millions of years. Every time you walk across the ground, you're walking across the compressed remains of previous civilizations. Their atoms are in the soil, their molecules are in the air you breathe, their legacy is in every rock, every crystal, every layer of sediment. We're surrounded by evidence of those who came before, and they're all watching, waiting to see what we'll do. The story continues. The evidence surrounding us tells an extraordinary tale of civilizations that achieved technological marvels beyond our current capabilities before vanishing into the geological record. Their legacy persists, waiting to be discovered, waiting to guide us, waiting for us to join them in the great work of cosmic consciousness. This is not the end of their story. It's a continuation. We're the next chapter. The latest civilization to arise on ancient Earth, walking in footsteps millions of years old. Our choice defines everything. These discoveries fundamentally change our understanding of intelligence, technology, and our place in the universe. We inherit a world shaped by previous civilizations whose greatest achievement may have been ensuring that successor societies would have the knowledge and tools needed to avoid repeating their failures. The legacy of deep time challenges us to think beyond our immediate concerns and consider our responsibilities to future civilizations that will judge our stewardship of this ancient inhabited world. The choice is ours, and the universe is watching. The final message. Deep beneath our feet, written in stone and crystal, encoded in isotopes and molecules, preserved in ice and amber, scattered across continents and ocean floors, hidden in orbit and on distant moons. The message is clear. You are not alone. You are not first. You are part of something ancient and ongoing. Learn from those who came before. Avoid their mistakes. Build on their achievements. Continue the work and, most importantly, survive. Because the universe needs consciousness. It needs intelligence. It needs beings who can understand it, appreciate it, shape it. The cosmos is vast and ancient and filled with wonders, but it needs us, needs intelligence to witness it all. Our predecessors understood this. They preserved their knowledge across geological time because they believed that eventually a civilization would arise that would get it right, that would survive, that would continue the great work. They believed in us. Now we must believe in ourselves. The deep past has spoken. The message has been delivered. The knowledge has been preserved. What we do with it, that's the story still being written. Our story. Humanity's story. The next chapter in the deep time chronicles of Earth. The universe is watching. Deep time is waiting. The choice is ours.